I love it. Happy Thursday, Ndamase. Welcome to the show with the most sauce. This is Trending SA right here on SABC3. My name is the Refilwe Mpakanyane.
Shakespeare.
Yes, yes.
Come through.
We have a jam-packed lineup for you, but before that, here are my co-hosts. First, she is the author, an author rather. She's the queen of everything sports related. Yes, queen. The dynamic Alma Smith. How are you, darling? Looking gorgeous in that blue skirt.
Thank you. My book is only out in 2 weeks, but
You
yes.
are definitely an author. I've seen the galley and the print of your book. You're an author, okay? And of course, he's a talented vocalist, musician, and an all-rounder. Chamzanyana. It's a feisty Mable. Mable, what up, though?
Summer nominated vocalist.
Ooh, bird.
So much. I'm great. I'm great. I'm having a great week, and I just hope we don't have any immediate effect thing
There
happening.
will be none. I have declared it and put it out into the universe.
Tonight on the show, we are talking to the queen of the gram, Mihlali Ndamase. Right, so we're talking to her about the power of the influencer culture, and later, the psychic medium, Tess Singh, is in the building.
Gender-based violence and femicide is a persistent, widespread problem in South Africa. The Crimes Against Women in South Africa report by Stats SA shows that femicide here is 5 times higher than the global average. That is shocking.
It's shocking, and unfortunately, too many of us know someone who's been in that position, or in fact are in that position. In 2017, Thulisile Gwala, a young woman from Soweto, was set on fire by her partner while she was sleeping. She suffered third-degree burns, and she nearly lost her life. But today, she lives to tell her story. Just a heads up, kindly note, we do have pictures that might upset sensitive viewers. It is time now for My Life. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Thulisile Gwala in the studio. So Thulisile, it's such a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for your time today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome.
Good to have you here. Thulisile, you spent 15 years with your partner and you had a child together during that time. I want you to please explain to us if things were always difficult between you guys. It was obviously Gwagumnandi in the beginning, and tell us what the relationship was like.
At first, the relationship, it was perfect. It was perfect only when it was weekends, when we were intoxicated.
Oh, yeah?
Then things would change. He was a brilliant, wonderful boyfriend, great father at that. But just, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Okay, so zonke lezinto ziyenzeka in your relationship, and you are happy with him during the weeks, and then things on weekends, go south sometimes. Did you ever think of leaving him?
To be honest, I didn't. I always thought he would change. I always thought, because I loved him so much, so I thought he would change. I thought maybe this was just a once-off thing. It was sometimes this weekend, we'd be fighting, I would be abused, but I wasn't aware that it was abuse. I would just say, no, I would blame myself that maybe I did something to trigger that in him.
Sure.
So 2017 was the year that, your life really changed. Let's go back to that, because your partner set you alight, which to me is unthinkable. Let's talk about what happened leading up to this horrific event. Tell me about the night.
The signs were there, to be honest. The signs were there because when we were with friends, he would hint that he was going to burn me someday, but as in a joke. So I wasn't aware that really he would do that. So one time we were invited to a friend's party, and then we went. Obviously we drank. It was nice, our friends around, and then he started being aggressive at the party, and then I realized that today he's very angry, but I wasn't aware that it was going to harm me because I was used to him drinking, hitting me, So when I asked my friends to take me home, he refused.
Sure.
He refused, and I didn't sense anything. I asked to go home. He offered to take me home. I agreed as usual. I didn't think that he would do anything. Yeah. When he offered to accompany me home, all of a sudden he said we should pass by his house first, so he could, so he can go and get a jersey.
Okay.
We went there, and he was aggressive. Now I could see that he was really aggressive. He ordered me to come inside the room. I refused. And then when I refused, he just got angry and said, okay, fine, I'm not taking you home anymore, so you'll see where you sleep. My mistake was not actually going home. I sat outside on the sofa. That's when I fell asleep, because I was also intoxicated. Okay. That's when I fell asleep. The next thing, I woke up, I was wet, feeling cold, and there was this sharp smell. I didn't know what he poured me with, and I was shaking from the cold because I was shivering. When I woke up, he was standing next to me. I asked him, what did you pour me with? And he said, I'm not done with you. He took out a box of matches, and then he let me. And I screamed, I cried for help. The next minute I saw a bucket, half a bucket. I poured myself over it. Still, the fire was still burning. There was flames everywhere, and I was screaming. No one to my rescue. He also helped, because he also poured a 25-liter bucket, poured me with that water. Finally, there was no fire. Then he went inside the room again. That's when I got the chance to escape.
You were in hospital for 3 weeks.
Yes.
This incident, this ordeal, obviously changed your physical look. What was it like after spending those 3 weeks in hospital? And, you know, the first time you have to pick up the pieces and, I guess, in many ways make peace with your reality. The first time you see yourself in the mirror, what happens?
I remember the first time when I saw my face for the first time. It was a horrific experience. I was so scared. I couldn't believe it. Still, I couldn't believe that he did this to me.
Sure.
Somehow I thought maybe I'm making up stories. I kept blaming myself still. And no, I don't believe it's him. But then I remembered every day that, no, I remember the last time this happened. It was horrific. I couldn't believe it. I was damaged. I was burned from head, half body.
Sure.
I was in pain everywhere. I couldn't walk. I couldn't take myself to the loo. I couldn't talk. My mouth was deformed. I couldn't move. I was just a statue person standing there. I was a stranger to myself.
Yeah. How do you find yourself in your new reality and come to, make peace with you and love yourself again?
It wasn't easy, I must say. It wasn't easy. But I believe that I'm a strong person.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy. And the support that I get from my friends and my family, it's awesome. It's wonderful. I tell myself that he only damaged the outside. The inside, I'm still the Thulisile that people know, that people love.
Sure.
So I promised myself that I'm not going to let anybody change me.
Yeah.
Wow. And how's your relationship with your daughter? You know, like traumatic experiences, like you went through something extremely traumatic. We can never downplay that. Nobody can. You know what I'm saying? So how, coming out of that and rebuilding yourself, how's your relationship with your daughter been?
At first it was difficult because she was scared of me. I couldn't believe that I gave birth to this child and the next thing she's scared of me.
Sure.
But now I can say this was also an experience for me and for her, because we're so much in love now. We're best friends now.
What's your message to other victims out there who might be watching this? What do you want people to learn from your story?
I want people to learn that there's no excuse for abuse. It starts physically,
Sure.
emotionally, verbally, whichever kind of abuse you're going through. There is no excuse for abuse. The minute a person shows you their true colors,
Believe it.
one slap, just get out of there as soon as possible. Seek help and get out of there. Because one day you won't be sitting here and living to tell the story.
Wow.
All right. Thulisile, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate the message of hope and inspiration. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you today. After the break, we are coming back with a very interesting conversation with influencers, or rather your influencer's influencer, Mihlali Ndamase. She's going to be joining us right here in studio. Stay with SABC3.
You're still watching Training SA on SABC3, and tonight we're talking about the influencer's influence. It's time for the Pin Chat. Joining our discussion tonight is the multi-award winning social media influencer and beauty vlogger. Since launching her career back in 2015, she has become one of the most sought after content creators in the country, with lucrative contracts under her belt and a combined social media following of nearly 2 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the effortlessly gorgeous Mihlali and Ndamase. Welcome to Trending SA.
Welcome for having me.
So, Mihlali, before you came to visit, we asked you to just put a little tweet out, poll people on which lip you should wear for your appearance here. Within the first hour, 45 retweets, 872 loves, and 172 replies. I mean, those engagement numbers are off the charts. What is it people resonate with about Mihlali?
I think I've always just built my brand on being authentic. And Twitter is one of the apps that I started on back in the day. So having a conversation with people is never really difficult. The interaction just comes authentically and naturally. So yeah, I think just being myself is really what has kept my brand very strong, because people can fall in love with what you do, your craft, but I think what keeps them around is the person behind the brand.
So we saw your name on this list of top paid influencers. You are making the money.
Is that a giggle of agreement?
Where did they get that list?
I mean, Hopper HQ says you are earning really good money. What are the 5 things in your influencer starter pack? What do you need?
You need a good camera. Okay. So even if you can't afford like a professional camera, I'd say a cell phone that takes good pictures. What else is in the starter pack?
What about things? Do you have like a content diary, for instance, right? A content calendar?
Actually, yes, a diary. So I usually jot down ideas of what I'd like to shoot, just to sort of schedule my content. You need a computer, of course, that you can edit your videos if you want to be a YouTuber.
Sure.
And 2 more things. I'd say a good lip gloss.
A good lip.
I have to throw in some makeup in there.
All right, so you are in this space, but ningi abantu that are in that space. When did you realize what actually man here? Like, when did you realize the power of your influence?
You know, when you just trend for things that don't, things that are unnecessary. I'm just like, okay, guys, why am I trending? Like, there's been days where I literally go on Twitter, if I was on set or whatever the case may be, and I go on Twitter and I'm trending and I didn't say anything. So I think that's when I realized that, okay, you might be a big deal, girl.
So, I mean, to that point, Mihlali, and you know, I'm coming on a social justice angle here. We've got international beauty vloggers as well, like Jackie Aina, Alison, Ashley, who've used that platform to advocate for movements like Black Lives Matter, right? And you've pretty much thrown your hat in the same ring. When is it the right time, especially for brands that are profiting off of, or rather, you know, quite closely aligned with Black culture, as it were? When is it relevant for you to add your voice to that same message that's out there, you know, in the zeitgeist?
I think we definitely hold a certain level of responsibilities. There's a lot of people in our communities online as well who want to know your opinion when they fall in love with the person that they're following. So I think it's always right when you feel like it's right. I'd never want to put people under pressure, but there's certainly various movements where you should never be silent, you know, because as much as people might be afraid to lose their bag, hence why a lot of people may not speak out, we're at a point now where we as influencers should be standing up and saying that I won't work with brands' values that don't align with mine.
But if you see something that might blow up, how do you make that decision? When do you go, actually, I don't need to get into this fight?
You mean it will backfire on you? That's really when you have to put your brand into the forefront. But you know what, guys, it's very tricky because, I mean, you could be speaking out about Black Lives Matter and then you could get some sort of backlash, people being like, you're not saying the right thing.
Or someone says you're just jumping on the train, right? It's not authentic.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really saying that if it's something that you feel strongly about, then I really do encourage you to
and you can
speak
back it up.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people out there who look at what influencers do and they side eye a bit. I saw this great quote that said, if old white capitalists came up with influencer work, we would all be applauding them for the fact that they have hacked the shortcut around media straight to people. I love
like
this.
that.
tweet that you put out, the screen grab of someone saying, how do you make your money? How do you make your money? Can you initiate me in the cult? Because that's kind of, I mean, that's quite shady. That's saying that you don't deserve what you get out of this.
Is that how you received it?
I think people don't really understand what I do. Certain people, a lot of people, because I mean, this is very new in SA, as much as it's been happening across the world. So very often people will undermine or narrow it down to just taking pictures and looking cute for Instagram.
That's what they think.
They don't understand what goes on beyond and behind the scenes, that there's actually a whole team involved if you have one.
Yeah.
There's campaigns, you have brand deals and contracts. So when people say that, it used to offend me a lot back in the day, because when I started out, I used to hear things like the wannabe makeup girl. But then now I'm just like, I feel like I've built a pretty strong brand that I don't have to explain myself to people. Those who know.
And sometimes people do influencer campaigns and you look at them and you're like,
Was it really a campaign? That's shady.
So you went to Atlanta
Yes.
for its Black Creators Conference or seminar?
YouTube Black.
YouTube, yes. Why do we need such seminars? Why do we need for Black content creators?
You know what? I think it's just to empower and celebrate Black content creators. For the longest time, Black people were not given equal rights. So it's a way to uplift people and raise awareness around the fact that, you know, maybe those opportunities may have been delayed for Black people. So here are some amazing creators that you guys should look out for, you should watch, you should support.
Okay.
well, your discussion, the contribution that you've made is so immeasurable. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
and
me.
keep inspiring.
And bringing all of this.
And bringing all this glamour to our feeds.
Maybe one day do my face.
Live for my channel,
You know,
right?
I'll come through.
Okay, Mable. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right after this. We'll be back.
That was fun. Welcome back. You're still watching Trending SA on SABC3. Tonight, we're joined by Taz Singh, a psychic medium with over 20 years experience. She covers career, relationships, health, and healing through messages from those on the other side. I'm so excited about our reading tonight. Actually, I joke, I'm a little nervous, truth be told. And I just want to ask you to help me welcome to the show, Taz Singh. Taz, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Taz, for the most part, when people come to you, what are the services that they're trying to access? What areas of their life do they want to improve or fix?
Generally, if it is the youngsters, they're coming to me because they want clarity on their career. They want clarity in terms of studies and their journey forward, or relationship aspects. But I find that the older generation comes to me for the crossing over or for health-related issues. But I find that, as you rightfully said, it's the younger generation that's picking up on this, which is lovely because they are going forward with informed, with information that they can now use to make better decisions.
Is it just us going through an existential crisis? Is that when we come to you, when we're having a quarter life?
Not really. I have a lot of clients that are regulars. They just come to me because they feel comfortable. They feel that they can talk, and I get where they're coming from. Because
So they're regular, like ongoing guidance as well.
yes, there's regular ongoing guidance. For example, I've got clients, for example, that are cancer patients, and they would come to me because they feel comfortable. I am guiding them through that whole journey of the healing. Somebody's going through a divorce, and they would come to me, for a reading, and then they find that they want to continue the journey with me. So yes, I do have a lot of regulars.
Okay. Whenever I talk to people about mediums and psychic readings, the one question that is always there, I don't know why people are so afraid of this, but people go, what if she tells me I'm not going to make it tomorrow? Like, tomorrow is your last day. People are so scared of that question.
Okay, but unfortunately, I also do that. If I do see that there is a member of your family that's very ill, I would inform you. that this person is actually, I do. Unfortunately, I have to be honest. So I do tell them, listen, this person is very ill. I'm not seeing them, going to make it. But it allows the family then to make peace with that information and have closure so they can say goodbye.
So you encourage them to tell that. My
Yes.
goodness.
Have you got a reading on trending essay? Like, is the show going to be on air still in 2021, for example?
How long are we going to be on air?
Thankfully, I am seeing the show being on air.
Okay, you know what? I'm so scared of this. Start, read me.
And it's funny he said start to read him because he's the strongest person sitting in this group.
Physically or?
From an energy perspective.
Okay.
From an energy perspective.
Look at you.
The reason why his energy comes through so strong is because your grandmother comes through.
On my mom's
maternal side, yes. Your grandmother comes through. She stands right next to you. She is a very strong lady. She shows me that she was the pillar for the family. And she says that your mom is now taking her place. She's a bit emotional when she talks about your mom. She says that she never got to give her all the love and support the way she would have loved to. And she says that my daughter really makes me proud. So she says, please tell my daughter that.
Can you read me, please? Tell me. Also me.
The first thing I see when I go to you is I'm seeing you're a very strong lady. I am seeing that you are a go-getter, and I do see that you are going forward into another business venture. There's been a few ideas that you've been working on, and I'm seeing there's a bit of tweaking that's still going to happen.
Sure.
But I do see that there is going to be a successful business venture.
Taz, you know what? I will take that. I will take that. I love it.
But you know what? You've worked very hard to get to this point. It has not been an easy road for you.
Yeah.
I see a lot of challenges that you've had to face, but what stands out is you don't give up.
Thank you.
By the way, Taz, when you see this show coming back, are we still on it? Are we still on it?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, my turn.
When I look at your energy, the first thing I go to is relationship. I am seeing that you have an amazing partner, but he's not as strong as you.
Nobody's
He's
as
not
strong as
gonna like
Elma.
No, he's very comfortable with the fact that I'm a force of nature, so it's
But
fine.
what I like is that you are the strength and you're the go-getter, and he supports you. I am seeing that both of you are discussing also a business venture. So the ladies are very business-orientated.
Perfect stuff. It's been an absolute
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for having
Stay
me.
right there. Don't go anywhere. We're going to chat to you after we roll credits.
That was so emotional.
Time flies when we're having fun. Unfortunately, this is where the buck stops. This is where it ends. But don't despair. Tomorrow, we are joined by Blessing Baba and Brian Habana. See you at 6 p.m. right here on SABC3. Good night, Mzansi.